Good evening. This is Kelly Cassidy, and tonight I would like to talk to you about my research project, Hashtags and Pins, how digital natives are using social media in their professional learning and instructional practices. To give you a little bit of background, research has been done on the attitudes and beliefs of different groups and their relationship to electronics. However, that research becomes outdated very quickly because technology is constantly evolving. Knowles in 1973 did research and put forth his theory about the adult learner, and most adults at that time had very limited access to any kind of technology. That learning theory has been updated, of course, and expanded upon by Hugh and Araki and others, but unfortunately, it still is constantly an evolving process. So, Pinterest didn't even exist when Hugh and Araki did their research. So, in fact, Pinterest is really still an infant. It was established in 2010, but as of September this past year, 2017, it had 800 million active users. In teacher education, leveraging the power of social media for social learning and professional networking is increasingly recognized as an essential skill for teachers. Less than a year ago, there were about 500,000 education pins on Pinterest per day. Within the last year, that has jumped to 1.3 million per day. Pinterest actually gave teachers their own educational hub in 2015, so it's obvious that Pinterest recognizes that teachers are major users of their platform. However, little research has been done on exactly how teachers are using it. In addition to the education revolution on Pinterest, Twitter also reports that educators are one of their biggest submarkets. Out of the 500 million tweets every day, 4.2 million are related to education. Within the last year, 200 billion tweets were posted, and almost 2 billion of those were specific to education. So, in the time it takes you to watch my presentation, which is just a few minutes, about 15,000 education related tweets will have gone across the Twittersphere, accounting for almost 50 tweets per second. With all the interaction on Twitter and Pinterest, it unveils questions about just how educators are using these services, and that's what I would like to look at. Are these educator pinners and tweeters passively watching and observing, or actively participating? And how are educators using these social media services for their professional learning and in their instructional practices? So my personal connections, I am part of the fence post generation due to my age, which I won't reveal here, but I'm not one of the digital natives. I did not grow up with technology, so I've had to incorporate technology as a learning curve throughout my entire life. Although I consider myself an instructional technology guru and specialist, I do have a unique position that I am part of the fence post generation. I actively mentor digital natives constantly in several of my positions in administration and as a science lead teacher. I'm an instructional leader, so I get to see digital natives and their interaction with curriculum development and instructional design frequently. Curriculum development for Georgia STEM is a big passion of mine, so I deal with a lot of digital natives in that process. And I've been a science instructor for 16 years. I've worked with all levels from pre-K up to college students and even teacher candidates. And I've done lots of different types of social media interactions, whether it be for professional learning or instructionally, using it in the actual classroom with students or to find and develop instruction. And I personally am an avid social media user. So my topical research, there is, like I said, very limited research has been done on the usage of technology-supported social interactions and how digital natives are using these in their educational practice. There is some research out there about social media use by educational professionals, digital professional learning networks, digital natives, and how individuals born after 1980 interact differently with technology. There's a great book that I've read called Born Digital, which is by Palfrey and Gasser. Digital natives and digital media assignment design and the impacts on student learning is also an interest in my study. The gap in the literature is what is the use of social media by digital natives to grow professionally and construct curriculum. My theoretical frameworks, I've chosen three, which I feel like really inform my study and are good for its conceptualization. Adult learning theory. Knowles' 1973 assumptions of adult learning states that adult learners are self-directed, social, and prefer an informal learning environment. Adult learning is often portrayed as a social construct. Integrative theory, as described by Peake, guides the exploration, understanding, and amelioration of learner engagement and informs the pedagogical design of successful mobile computer-supported computer learning environments. And engagement theory describes Kersley and Steinerman describe engagement theory as students meaningfully engaged in learning activities through interaction with others and worthwhile tasks. So it's probably pretty evident how these three are going to work together because I'm looking at teachers who are adult learners. I'm looking how they explore, understand, and interact with computer supported learning environments, and then how they engage with those learning activities in the interaction with others and doing worthwhile tasks such as curriculum development. The problem statement is locating and integrating new instructional materials into educational practice is time consuming for teachers. There's not a lot of research out there on how this has been updated as technology has evolved. It used to be long ago that most development of instructional practices and professional learning was either done in a face-to-face environment or through textbooks or reading and participating in some type of curriculum development or professional learning session. However, this research needs to be updated for the digital revolution. My research questions are: how are digital natives using social media for professional learning? And how are digital natives using social media in their classroom instructional practices? Here is my methodology. I will use a single instrumental case study. My data will be qualitative and it will consist of interviews, observations, and focus groups. I'll use a survey for my participant selection, which will be about 6 participants. I would like for about half of them, or 3, to come from a case 6 digital natives, which will be one of my many cases, and then the other 3 to come from 6 through 12 digital natives. Hopefully that will work out when I do my survey and do the participant selection. This is my ever-evolving conceptual framework. This semester has proved to be very enlightening in this regard. I sincerely appreciate all of Dr. Sutton Brown Fox's leadership and mentorship this semester, and also all of you guys who have given me feedback. If you go back and look at my study from the beginning of the semester till now, it has evolved quite a bit. It almost looks completely different than it did at the beginning, so I'm grateful for all of you in helping me make it as the best I can possibly be going into my beginning of my dissertation. So thank you for your time, and I anticipate and covet any feedback that you may have. Thanks. Have a great night.